So this is the next question. The question asked is, see, the dependent current source shown in the figure in this circuit is given. Okay, the options are the dependent current source. Observe this question. The dependent current source given in the figure, okay, delivers 80 watts, absorbs 80 watts, and delivers 40 watts and absorbs 40 watts. It's a very, very good question based on the power deliver and power absorption. Okay, power deliver and power absorption. So you should know, first of all, before answering this question, when the element absorbs the power. When the element absorbs the power. So what are the elements are there to absorbing the power? Suppose if you take a resistor, inductor and capacitor, okay, resistor, inductor and capacitor, these are all what? Passive elements. These are all passive elements. R, L, C. Okay, they always absorb the power. They always absorb the power. It absorbs the power. They always absorb the power. But what, observe this. What is the inductor and capacitor? They absorb the power and they will store it. They absorb the power and store it. Okay. They absorb and store the power. They absorb and store the power. These two. Inductor and capacitor, they absorb the power and store the power. Okay. So in the given circuit, if the source is not there, after absorption, if the source is removed, what happens? If the source is removed, definitely whatever the power is, whatever the energy is stored in the inductor and capacitor, they will be delivered to the remaining elements. Okay. So what about the resistor? So it will absorb the power, and at that instant of time, the power will be dissipated in the form of heat. It cannot store the energy or power. It cannot store the energy. Okay, they can store the energy. They can store the energy. Okay, and wherever the source is removed from the network, and they will start delivering the power. So that is the thing you have to understand. Okay, they will start delivering the power. This is one of the important point you have to understand. Okay, so wherever it is, the current, let us suppose the current is going like this. So what are the notations we have to take? Let us suppose this is the current, this is the current, this is the current. Okay, so wherever the element is absorbing the power, we should think that it is a positive terminal. It is a positive terminal. It is a positive terminal. It is negative, negative, negative. Okay. So whenever the current going like this, it will be the positive terminal. Okay. It will be the negative terminal. So it will what? It will absorb the power. It will absorb the power. So the current is going like this. It is entering the positive terminal and leaving the negative terminal. So it is absorbing the power. So like that only we will be writing the KVL. So wherever there is a resistor, we will take that one as the drop. We will take that one as a drop. Right or not? Observe this. Suppose if you write any KVL in this, let us suppose it is V1, R1, R2. V1, R1, R2. Okay. Let us say, how can you write the KVL? You will write the KVL by assuming one current. So, if I write the KVL, it is V1 minus, let us suppose the current is I into R1, right? I into R1 minus I into R2, right? How this is equals to 0. How we are getting means, we are assuming the positive here, negative here, positive here, negative here. So whenever the current is entering this terminal, positive terminal, it absorbs the power. So that's why the minus sign is, there is one drop. Whenever the current is entering the positive terminal, okay, it drops the power. So I am taking that, that's why it's a minus. It is equals to 0. So it is the total voltage. So in this total voltage, It is absorbed, some of the amount is absorbed by this one and some of the amount is absorbed by this one. Okay, and this entire energy will be dissipated in the form of heat. So that is the point you have to understand. So now whenever this is an inductor, this is an inductor, so whenever the current is entering this inductor and it will absorb the power and it will store and it will store. Now if the source is removed from the network, and they start delivering the energy, and similarly the capacitor also. And there is one more very, very important point is, so whenever the inductor is delivering the power, okay, whenever the inductor is delivering the power, what happens? The polarities will be same, but the current direction is, the polarity will be changed, the current direction is same. Okay, right or not? The polarities will be interchanged. That means it will be minus, it will be plus, but the current direction is different. Sorry, whenever the inductor starts delivering the power, what happens? The current direction will be same. Okay, the current direction will be same. What about the polarities? The polarities will be interchanged, reversed. Okay, the polarities will be reversed. So suppose if the capacitor starts delivering the power, what happens? The capacitor starts delivering the power. Now here the polarities will be kept same. The polarities will be kept same, but the current direction is interchanged. This is the point you have to understand. Okay, here. So whenever, you should note one thing, whenever the current enters the positive terminal of the element, then the element is said to be, the element is absorbing the power. Whenever the current enters the positive terminal of the element, then that is said to be, the element is absorbing the power. Whenever the current enters the negative terminal of the element, that can be said as it is delivering the power. Okay, see, observe this. In the first previous case, what we have taken? In the previous case, we have taken that the current directions are like this. It is okay. The current directions are like this. The current direction is like this. Previously, we have taken this is plus, minus, like this. So that's why whenever the current entering the positive terminal of the element, it is said to be the element is absorbing the power, right? But out of these three elements, this resistor will only absorb the power and it will not deliver the power. That is the thing you have to understand. So these two elements will deliver the power. How they will deliver the power? They will store the power. So while they are charging, they will store the power. If the source is connected to that, they will store the power, and the source is removed from the network. Okay, if the source is removed from the network, then they will start delivering the power. Okay, so how they will deliver and what will be the polarities of that? What will be the polarities of these two now? Okay, so write a note. The note is first one, whenever the current enters the positive terminal of the element. Element may be anything, even it may be a resistor, inductor, capacitor, or any kind of voltage source, current source. Okay, element may be anything, RLC or voltage source, current source. Okay, voltage source, current source. Then what happens? Whenever the current enters the positive terminal of the element, the element is said to be delivering the power. sorry, it is absorbing the power. Absorbing the power. Okay, so whenever the current enters the positive terminal of the element, then the element is said to be absorbing the power. Okay, they absorb the power. Okay, but if you come to this, R is only absorbs the power. It only absorbs and dissipates at that amount of time only. Instantly they will dissipate. Okay, but here inductor and capacitor will absorb and store, right? If the source is connected to the inductor and capacitor, and they will absorb the energy and they will store the energy up to maximum value. If the source is removed from the network, then they will start delivering the energy. Okay, they will start delivering the energy. If they start deliver the energy, means what they will do? So it should not absorb now. They have to start the delivering the power. Okay, so what it will be? The current will be same direction, but here the polarities will be changed for the inductor. The polarity will be changed for the inductor. This is what? This is delivering. This is the delivering inductor, right? Now it will not be the absorbing. Now it is the delivering inductor. Okay. Now here if you come to this, see this is the current, right? Okay. Previously it was the current. Now if the source is removed from the network, then this capacitor starts delivering the power. Now what happens? So here the polarities will be kept as it is. But the current direction will be changed here. So this is the difference you have to understand. Okay, this is what this capacitor is now delivering, right? This is a very important concept when you come to the transient analysis. Okay, it is a very important concept. So if you observe this, whenever the current enters the positive terminal of the element is said to be absorbing the power. Similarly, what we can write? Whenever, so what is the opposite to this? Whenever the current enters the negative terminal of the element, then the element is delivering the power. So these are the 2 points are very important. Okay, these 2 points are very important. You have to identify this. See, if these are two elements, observe this. Whenever the current enters the negative terminal of the element, okay, then they will deliver. See, what is the current? The current is in this direction. It is entering the negative terminal. So that's why it is delivering. Okay, so whenever the source is removed, then it will start delivering, but the current in the inductor will be in the same direction. The current direction cannot be changed, but the polarity of the inductor will be changed. Similarly, if you come to the capacitor, observe this. The current is entering the negative terminal of the capacitor. Okay, the current is entering the negative terminal of the capacitor. So that's why this capacitor is delivering the energy. Right? So one point you have to understand that. So whenever the capacitor is delivering, then what happens? The current direction will be changed, but the polarities will kept constant. Okay, the polarities of the capacitor is kept constant. Okay, so that is the point you have to understand. So write one more note point here. Okay, for delivering inductor, the current direction is same as that of absorbing, but the polarities get reversed. The polarities get reversed. This is a very, very important point. Okay. Now what happens? The fourth point. The fourth point is for the delivering capacitor. For the delivering capacitor, the polarities are kept same as that of absorbing capacitor. Okay, but the current direction negates. The current direction reversed. The current direction reversed. This is the point you have to understand. Okay, these 4 points are very important. If you take any element like this, if you take any element, let us suppose any element. So whenever the current enters this element, positive terminal of this element, then what is the meaning of this? This is absorbing the power. Absorbing the power. Okay, suppose if the same element, for the same element, if the current is entering the negative terminal, then what happens? The current is entering the negative terminal. This is called as the delivering. These are the 2 points must be kept in mind. Okay. So based on this, you will get questions. So that's why I am stressing on this. Okay. So these basics are very, very important. So if this is the case, if you are comfortable with this, okay, and it will be easy for you. Solving this question is very easy. Okay. Always remember, what is this? It is an element. It is positive, negative. It is an element. It is negative, positive. Okay, the current is coming like this, the current is coming like this. What is this? It is absorbing. What about this? Deliver. These are the 2 things you have to identify. Okay, if the current is entering the positive terminal, that is absorbing. If the current is entering the negative terminal, the element is delivering the power. Now observe this. So how can you get this? See, we have to find whether the dependent current source is absorbing the power or delivering the power. You have to identify, and how much power is delivering or absorbing. So first of all, we have to find how much power is existing in that. Okay, how much power is delivering or absorbing. Okay, so what is this actually? It is a current controlled. It is what? It is a current source, right? It is a current source, but it is dependent on what? It is dependent on the V1. What is V1? Here is the V1, right? Here is the V1. So what is this? It is a current controlled voltage source. What is this? It is a current controlled, it is a voltage controlled, it is a voltage controlled current source. Okay, what is this? This is a current source. We know this is a current source, right? this current is dependent on the voltage V1, right? So that's why it is controlled by, this current is controlled by voltage. Okay, so that's why voltage controlled current source, it is a voltage controlled current source. So it is a current source. So what we have to find? We have to find the power of this. To find the power of this, already current is there. If you can find the voltage, across this, and you can easily find the power. And this is a positive terminal, so always represent, this arrow mark represents the positive terminal and remaining is the negative terminal. So if you can find the voltage here, and it will be very easy for you. So how can you find the voltage here? Okay, so this is, if it is a voltage, and what it will be? This will be the same voltage. So that's why it will be the same voltage, right? So it is also appeared across this. So it is appearing across this means what? It is the voltage difference between these two terminals is V. Okay, so I am marking a ground here. So whatever the voltage is present here, it will also present here. So that's why I am writing this one as V, right, with respect to ground. I am naming this one as V because these two are the parallel branches. Okay, for my simplicity I am marking here as a ground. Definitely for every question you have to mark the ground. Okay, so that will make you simple. So this is V. Now write the nodal analysis. So what is the nodal analysis? Nodal analysis means the algebraic sum of the currents is equals to 0. Algebraic sum of the currents at any node is equals to 0. So what is the algebraic sum of currents? The current entering is equals to current leaving, right? The sum of the currents at that node must be equals to 0. So if you observe this, while applying the nodal analysis, what I have to do? While applying the nodal analysis, assume all the currents are leaving from the node. This is the first point you have to understand. Okay, while applying the nodal analysis, okay, assume all the currents are leaving from the node. Okay, second point, if any current is approaching the load, then what happens? Consider it as a negative. So that means what? All the entering currents at the node are considered to be negative. All the leaving currents must be considered to be positive. That is all the negative currents, all the entering currents are assumed to be, negative, and all the leaving currents are assumed to be positive. That is the thing you have to identify. Okay, so you have to follow this one. Either you can assume all the entering currents can be called as positive, all the leaving current can called as negative. So either only one thing you have to follow. So I am following this. Okay, so if you observe this, now I am applying the nodal analysis. So what is the nodal analysis? It's a KCL, Kirchhoff currents law. Okay, nodal means it's a KCL. Kirchhoff currents law means at any node, if you want to apply the KCL, what happens? If you want to apply the KCL, now I have to take the sum of the currents. The sum of the currents, either it may be entering or leaving, must be 0. Okay, so if I want to write the KCL here, okay, current. What is the current in this direction? You have to identify the current in this direction. How many branches are there? 1 branch, 2, 3. 3 branches are there. There are the 3 branches. Let us suppose this is I1, I2, I3. Right? I1, I2, I3. Now what? Assume all the currents are leaving the node. That means why they will leave the node? I am assuming the voltage at this point is having higher potential. I am assuming like that. Okay? So if I assume like that, then all the currents are leaving the terminal. Now if I write the KCL at there, what is the algebraic sum? The sum of all the currents are 0 according to KCL. So that means I1 plus I2 plus I3 are 0. So that is what KCL. The sum of algebraic sum of the currents are 0. This is the KCL. At any node, this one. Now what is I1? I1 is equals to the voltage. See, observe this. This current, right? This current. So the voltage difference between here to here with respect to ground. What is the current? The current is nothing but V minus 0. It is 0 volts. V minus 0, but here there is one thing is there. Observe this. V minus 20 minus 0 divided by 5. So you can write I1 is equals to how much? V minus 20. V minus 20 divided by 5 plus what is I2? I2 is V divided by V minus 0. V minus 0 divided by 5. This is one current. Means V by 5 plus what is this? V minus, what about this? 0. There is no resistor. You cannot write the in terms of resistor. So, but what is this actually? It is a current only. What is this I3? I3 is nothing but, what about this? V1 by 5. But it is opposite to the I3. So, that's why you have to take what? Negative direction to this. So what is the current? The current is approaching this terminal. If the current is approaching this terminal, I have to take this one as a negative. Right? I have to take all the leaving currents assumed to be positive and all the entering currents assumed to be negative. Right? So I have to take this is minus V1 by 5. But what is V1? V1 is equal to how much? What is V1? V1 is equals to, it is 20 divided by 5. It is equals to 4 amperes. Right? So I can write V1 by 5 as it is 4 amperes. Okay? Is equals to 0. This is a current. This current and this current and this current. Okay? So like this. So how can we solve this? V minus 20 plus V minus 20 is equals to 0. So here 2V is equals to 40. Then V is equals to 20 volts. V is equals to 20 volts we got. So what is this V? This is the V. We got 20 volts. If it is 20 volts, then what it will be? It is also 20 volts. If it is 20 volts, already current you know. Okay, what is the power? The power across the dependent source. The power across the dependent source, P is equals to the voltage into current. The voltage across this dependent source into current in this. So what is the voltage across the current source? It is a 20 into 4. Okay, 20 into 4. So this is equal to 80 watts. It is a power V into I. Okay. So now what we have to find? 80 watts is there. Either it is delivering or absorbing. That is the point. Delivering the power, absorbing the power, you have to decide. Okay. So for this, what is the current? The current is 4 ampere current. What is the current direction? The current direction is this one. If the current direction is this one, what is this? It is entering the positive terminal. It is entering the positive terminal or leaving the negative terminal. You can also say anything. Observe this. It is entering the negative terminal and leaving the positive terminal. Observe this. It is entering the negative terminal. The current is entering the negative terminal. If the current is entering the negative terminal, what is the meaning? It is delivering the power. Observe this. If the current is entering the negative terminal, what is the source? The source is delivering the power. Okay. So if the current is in this direction, it delivers the power. So that's why the power is delivered. So this is the thing you have to identify. Right? It is the power delivered by the dependent source. Right or not? So it is the power delivered by the dependent source. Now what is the power absorbed by this? See, this is the resistor. Now what will be the power absorbed by this? What is the power absorbed by this 5 ohm resistor? Now power absorbed by the 5 ohm resistor is how much? The answer is completed. What is the answer? The answer is it delivers 80 watts, right? It delivers the 80 watts. Okay, the answer is A here, delivered. So this is the thing. Now, so the answer is completed. Now, what is the, it is a 4 ampere source, right? It is a 4 ampere source. Okay. If you come to there, now what is the power absorbed by the resistor, 5 ohm resistor? Suppose if you want to find the power in the 5 ohm resistor, what it is? It is V square by R, right? What is V square? V square already we found it. So it is 20 square divided by 5. It is 20 square divided by 5. It always absorbs, resistor always absorbs the power. That is the thing you have to identify. So this is how much? It is 4 into 20. It is 80 watts. Right? 4 into 20. It is 80 watts absorbs. 80 watts absorb. The resistor will absorb 80 watts of power. Okay. So now what happens to this 5 ohm resistor? What happens to this 5 ohm resistor? Now if you want to write this 5 ohm resistor P5, or I am writing this one P15. Okay. P51, let us suppose, due to the current. Now what is the power absorbed by this 5 ohm resistor? The power absorbed by this 5 ohm resistor is, what is this? How can we write the power? The current in this, or the voltage across this 5 ohm resistor divided by R. I can also write I1 square into R. So it can be written as I1 square into R, or I can also write the voltage across this V minus V1. V minus V1 square divided by 5. You can also write like this. So I1 square into 5 or V minus V1 square by 5. What is I1 square? What is already you know? Already you know what is this? V. It is 20 minus V1 is how much? It is 20 whole square divided by 5. So what is this? It is equal to 0. It is equal to 0. So what is the meaning of this? What is the meaning of this? So the power absorbed by this 5 ohm resistor is 0. Okay, the power absorbed by the 5 ohm resistor is 0. So what is the meaning? The meaning of this one is this is not, observe, what is the current in this? What is the current in this? The current here I1 is equals to how much? 0, because V minus V1 divided by 5. This is 20 minus 20 divided by 5. It is equals to 0. What is the current? Current here, I is equals to 0 amperes. So what is the power delivered by this? The power delivered by this is, independent current voltage source is 0. Okay. The power delivered by the independent voltage source is 0. Okay. So what is the power is delivered by? The power is delivered by only the dependent source only. Okay. The power delivered only by the dependent source only, not by the independent source. Right? So in this, what is the power delivered? The power delivered is equals to 80 watts. What is the power absorbed? Power absorbed by the 80 watts. Okay. So this is delivering the power and this is absorbing the power. This is delivering the power. This is absorbing the power. What about this? This is not absorbing the power and this is not delivering the power. Right? So this is the thing you have to identify. So in the circuit, what is the total power absorbed? The total power absorbed is equals to the total power delivered. Okay. The total power absorbed is equals to total power delivered. So this is the thing. So what is the total power absorbed? It is the 80 volts. It is 0, 80 plus 0, 0 only. Okay. What is the total power delivered? 80. What is the power delivered by this? Is 0. So 80 is equals to 80. So it is called as Telegen's theorem. What is this? It is called as the Telegen's theorem. So in any network, the total power absorbed is equals to the total power delivered. Okay. So this is what, how to find the power absorbed or power delivered. Okay. So this is the next question. Observe this. In the network given, okay, in the network is given, if the 60 volt source is absorbing the power, then what can be the value of I? Then what can be the value of I? He has given one clue. A 60 volt source is absorbing the power. Okay. So only the current and voltage sources are given. He is talking about the power only. Okay. He is talking about the power. So if the 60 volt source is absorbing the power, then what can be the value of I? What can be the value of I? So how can we find the value of I? It's a very, very good question. See, what is the current in this? The current in this branch is 12 amperes. The current in this branch is 12 amperes. The current in this branch is 12 amperes. That means it is 12 amperes. It is 12 amperes. Right? So in this 12 amperes, some amount of current will be coming like this. Let us suppose I1. What is this current? Some amount of current will be flowing in this direction. So this 12 ampere is divided in this branch and in this branch, because these two are parallel branches, and again this I1 will come here and this I will come here and this I1 will come here, and the addition of these two will become 12 amperes. The addition of these two will become 12 amperes again. Right? So he has given that the 60 volt source is absorbing the power. If the 60 volt source is absorbing the power, then what it can be? If the 60 volt source is absorbing the power, means what? It is absorbing the power means the current is coming like this. Right? The 60 volt source is absorbing the power means the current is coming in this direction. Okay? What we have assumed is correct. What we have assumed is correct. So the current is coming in this direction. Right? The current is coming in this direction. Right now? Right or not? Because 60 volt source is absorbing the power. Power means what? For the 60 volt source, the current must be entering the positive terminal. Okay? For the 60 volt source, the current must be entering the positive terminal. So that's why the current must be in this direction. This is I1. Right or not? So from this, what we can say? So this 12 amperes is equals to, this 12 amperes is equals to I plus I1. I plus I1. Okay. Now what will be I? I is equals to 12 minus I1. 12 minus I1. So, do you know the value of I1? We don't know the value of I1. Okay, we don't know the value of I1. So, if you observe the options, it is 12 minus I1. See, 12 minus I1, only this option is satisfying. Remaining, these all are greater than 12. 13, 15, 18. That means it is 12 minus I1, right? So, it must be, the I value must be less than 12. The I value must be less than 12. So, this can be the option. This can be the option. So, this is the answer. Right? It's a very good question. You have to note that if the 60 volt source is absorbing the power, means only this will be the possibility. This will be the possibility. Okay? The current must flow in this direction. The current must flow in this direction. Then only it will be possible. So, we know this is the current I1 and this is the current I. The addition of these two will become 12 amperes. Okay? So, this is the thing. The answer is 10 amperes. So, this one plus this one is equals to 12. That means definitely it will be less than 12. Now, in the above question, if the 60 volt source is delivering the power, then what will be the answer? If it is delivering the power, then what can be the value of I? So, delivering the power means what? What happens? Exactly, the current has to, observe this, the current should flow in this direction. Right? The current should flow in this direction. Now, you cannot take like this. Right? This is I1. This cannot be the notation. So, the current is in this direction. The current is in this direction. Right or not? So, now, how can we write? How can we write? The current is coming like this and the current is going like this. Now, I can be is equals to this I1 plus 12 amperes. Right or not? I can be is equals to this I1 plus 12 amperes. So, this is the thing. So, I1 plus 12 means it may be this option, this option, this option. Three options are may be correct, but the exact value of I1 is not given. So, that's why we can't exactly decide what is the value of I. So, these three options are correct. Okay, he will not give like that. Only one option will be the answer. Okay, so that is the thing. So, this is the I1. So, these three options may be correct. So, here what? It is I1, it is 12 amperes, and again this I1 plus 12 amperes is equals to I. Right? So, this is like this, you have to think. I hope you got it. Okay? So, this is a very, very important question, and these kind of questions will give you a clear idea about what is the delivering the power, what is the absorbing the power. Okay? So, the network given. So, for this network, the power supplied by the voltage source is, find the power supplied by the voltage source is, find the power supplied by the voltage source is, option A, it is 0 watts, option B, it is 5 watts, option C, it is 50 watts, option D, it is 500 watts, it is 500 watts. So, this is the question given. So, what will be the power supplied by the voltage source? So, where is the voltage source? The voltage source is here. So, we have to find the power supplied by this source. So, how can we find? Already voltage source is there. To find the power, you have to find the current in this. You have to find the current in this voltage source. If you can find the current in this voltage source, and voltage into current is equals to power. Suppose if we ask to find us, okay, if you ask to find us the power in the current source, we have to find the voltage across the current source. Then we can get the power across the current source. Okay, the power delivered or absorbed by the current source. So how can we find this I? How can we find this I? So how can you to find this I? If it is I am assuming this one as I, then this will be I. That will be I. Right? Now. And it is I means this is also I, right? This is I. It is 2 amperes is coming. Here 2 amperes is coming, 1 ampere is coming. So what about this? By applying the KCL, 1 plus 2 is equals to 3. It is 3 amperes is going like this. It is in this direction and it is in this direction. These two will meet and give the 3 ampere current. Right? It is a 3 ampere current. This is I ampere current. So if it is 3 amperes, here also what? It is a 3 amperes. Right? So what about this? This will be I plus 3 amperes. I plus 3. This current is I plus 3. What about this current? This current is I plus 3. If it is I plus 3, this is also I plus 3. Now what it will be? 1 ampere. Out of this I plus 3, 1 ampere is going like this. If 1 ampere is going like this means what happens? So this will become I plus 2. Right or not? This is I plus 3. 1 ampere is going in this direction. Now what is this? It is I plus 2. If it is I plus 2, what is this? It is also I plus 2. Right? In this I plus 2, 2 amperes is coming. Right or not? 2 amperes is going in this direction. What about this? I only, right? I plus 2, this 2 is going in this direction means this is I. So whatever we have taken is perfect. Right? So this is the current. Now if you can find the I value here, then this will be the, now you can find the power. How can you find the I value here? How can you find the I value here? So you have to apply a KVL equation. You can also apply the KCL also. It is 10 volts. Observe this. It is a 10 volts. Right? If it is 10 volts, this is also 10 volts. I am marking here as a ground. Okay. So you have to, how many nodes are there? How many nodes are there? This is one node. Second, third, 4 nodes are there. So 3 equations we require. Okay. So let us suppose this is V1 and V2. V1, V2, 10, V1, V2. Here you have to apply the KCL. Here you have to apply KCL. Here you have to apply KCL. Okay. If you can apply KCL and you will get the answer of I. Okay. Don't worry about that. But the thing is, it makes some wastage of time. Okay. So that's why what you can write. So that's for that purpose I am taking one loop. Observe this. Always this kind of approach will help you everywhere. If you take this loop, outer loop, if you apply the KVL in this loop, this is one loop, right? You can also take this loop, but you should know the voltage across this. Or you can also take this loop, but you have to know the voltage across this. Okay. Now observe this loop. What I have taken, this, observe this outer loop. Okay. If you write the KVL in outer loop, if you write the KVL in outer loop, then what it will be? It is 0, right? 0, it is what? Minus terminal is there. So that's why you have to write plus. So 0 plus 10, it is 10. 10, what about this? It is minus of I plus 3 into R minus of I plus 3 into R, because in the resistor I have to take minus, because I have to assume this one as a plus, minus, because always the resistor will absorb the power. Okay. So that's why it is I plus 3 into 1 minus I plus 3 into 1. What about this? Minus 1 into I plus 2 means I plus 2 into 1. What about this? Minus I plus 2 into 1. Okay. What about this? It is 0. Okay. It is equals to 0. I started from here and going here and end up here. Then what will be the answer here? So 10 is equals to how much? If you observe this, if 10 is equals to, this is 2 into I plus 3, okay, plus 2 into I plus 2, 2 into I plus 3 and 2 into I plus 2. So here you will get 10, this is minus 6, this is minus 4 is equals to, it is 2i, 4i. So from this, what is I? It is 10, right? 10 minus 10, it is 0 is equals to 4i. Right? So this implies I is equals to how much? It is 0. I is equals to 0. If I 0 means, what happens? If it is I 0 means, now what will be the power supplied by the voltage source? The power supplied by this voltage source is 0 watts. The power supplied by this voltage source is 0 watts. That means it is not contributed anything. This voltage source is nothing is contributing. Okay, so that's why the current by this voltage source is 0. If the current by this voltage source is 0, so you can remove this, right? So the answer is 0 watts. So only the power is contributed by this one and this one.